Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the next episode of Inside the Business Mind. Every once in a while, my life is just amazing in that I get to meet some of the most talented people on the planet. I get to talk to them, get to interview them, get to embrace them. Sometimes we move in organizations together. Sometimes we build associations and collaborations. We do a lot of things. And one of the people that I'm so proud to bring to you today is not just a literal rock star, but a super genius in terms of everything you need to know to build your business. As a coach, as a leader in the industry, I don't think I know too many people who could claim to be as wise and as informed as Adam Pressman. And so I am super proud of him. I'm super proud to bring him to the table today. We're going to go inside the business mind with Adam Pressman today. Now, let me tell you something about Adam that I think is super important for you to know. Because as you can tell, I'm already impressed, right? But you don't have to just be impressed with what I have to share with you today. I'm going to put his information right here in the chat, his LinkedIn profile. So you can go and you can see for yourself why I say he's a super genius and really, really a rock star, right? Adam has been one of the leaders in crowdfunding and crowdfunding strategy since crowdfunding began. So you think about that, a couple of years ago, the government changed the rules about how investments could happen, how different types of investments can happen, and how small businesses investments can happen. And he's one of the people that was on the forefront of this idea. And he's been the chief executive officer of the Syndicate Path for over 5 years now. Before that, over 10 years, he's been running the crowdfunding roundup, right? He's been a president and CEO of Leadership Shape, which is an organization that's dedicated to the training and development of leaders all over the place. And he's a singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist for, I guess the group is Dolly Sides. I'll let him share what that's all about later. And he's had a plethora of experiences in the banking industry, in different organizations and bands, started his professional career out with MCI. I think that, again, nothing more impressive than Adam Pressman, and you're going to love sharing your time with him. I started to create Inside the Business Mind because I thought that leaders that I came across with don't get the opportunities they should get when it comes to really earning the respect and the dignity and the honor that is due them, their experience and their talent. And I thought this would be a great way for us to showcase not just what they do, but who they are. And that's what we're going to talk to Adam about. We're going to get inside the mind of a business genius and discover who he is, what makes him tick, the things that matter to him, so that you know who the person is that you're going to trust to help you do amazing things in your life and in your business. Without further ado, I introduce to you Mr. Adam Pressman. Adam, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Sounds like a guy who can't hold out a job, doesn't it? My LinkedIn profile. It all makes sense in a kind of weird way if I get to explain it, but boy, it doesn't look good at the start. So by all means, reach out to me and contact me to see. I really didn't want to be a serial entrepreneur, but I've ended up being a parallel one. But thank you for the really kind words. I hope I can live up to them today.
So the first question I'm going to ask you is the question I ask everyone, and it's the vision question, right? The first that vision question is so super important because it helps people begin to understand not just who you are, but where you're going. And so when you project yourself out into your future, what are the things that you want to be, do, and have that you can't right now? Take it away.
It is such a great, it is such a great question to put that in focus. And it changes from time to time. I'd love to tell you that there's, for anybody, it's probably true, that list changes. but it needs to be in front of you all the time to keep an eye on it. For me, it's being someone who truly can provide for what I put on my shirt here, more work less and celebrate often. That's my mission, to help people do as many as possible. That happens in a lot of ways. And one of the things I want to have is a system in place that can expand so much more the number of people who can benefit from what we're doing in funding, from what we're doing in building businesses, from sustaining businesses, what we're doing to help people find what it is that they're incredibly good at, and have them build that into a system of what I call unconscious competence. So they're so good at it, they don't have to think about it anymore, and can turn their attention to even better things. And what was it? It was R, B, and have. I wouldn't mind having the boat that picture I'm sitting in front of. But no, I mean, always having what I've been able to attain now: health, um, companionship, love of a family, and of course, something that makes it meaningful for me to get up every day, and that is the practice, the portfolio of businesses that I have, that all seem to drive me toward helping people achieve more, work less, and celebrate often.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, when you think about that, right? Building a system that you want to build, having that boat that you want to have, there are obstacles that are actual natural obstacles that are they're there for you, that you're going to have to figure out how to overcome, how to get around, how to balance out, how to deal with those obstacles. What do you think are the biggest obstacles that represent challenges for you that you're going to have to overcome in order to get you to this vision?
The biggest obstacle, I would say, for me has been in terms of the contributions I'm lately making, was my own lack of certain competencies that I know I would need to be successful. And what I've learned, some from you, is putting that upon my network rather than myself. I have surrounded myself with the Crowdfund Roundup Syndicate Path team with guys who've been doing funding for businesses for 4 decades. I could spell capital formation correctly 10 years ago when I started this. You can call me a pioneer in crowdfunding if you want, but I really was just the guy who put together the people who truly were. And just like, they always talk to the coach at the end of the football game about how he won, and the coach will tell you the same thing, even the quarterback. Well, it was the team behind me. And anything that anybody accomplishes, he did it with the help of others. And whether he acknowledges that or not, I remember when President Obama said, "You didn't build that." And he was referring very truthfully to the notion that pulling yourself up by your bootstraps is an admirable and kind of uniquely American positivity, but it isn't really grounded in a whole lot of fact. Obviously, you need to be responsible and as effective for yourself and self-motivated as you can be. But you must recognize nothing good in this life happens with one person alone. And so the obstacles I face are always, have I put the right people on the bus? To use the good to great authors metaphor, have I put the right people on the bus to help me steer toward wherever it is we need to go, that will work for all of us together? That is every day something that I challenge, that I find to overcome. There are others. Funding is obviously one. Time, there's only so many hours in the day. But truly, it boils down to, can I surround myself with the right people to keep me motivated, and that I can motivate and keep us all moving in the right direction, so that the accomplishment of our mission is inevitable.
Said that, and when you said that before, it's like when you can set up a system where the achievement that you're trying to achieve is inevitable. To me, that's like everything you need to do. Right? Right, just like it's inevitable. Just to know that it's just going to happen. As long as you put these systems together correctly, it's just going to happen. And you're right. Trusting others, that's not something that comes to a lot of us naturally. Learning how to lean on, depend on, and even collaborate with others, because in our sort of Western mind is like it's all about doing it ourselves. It's all about winning for ourselves, by ourselves, because of ourselves, right? And that's just like Obama said, just ain't true. It's not real. It doesn't really happen that way. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. So intuitively, what do you know you have to do in order to have that faith in others, in order to trust the team that you've already assembled so well, to really let them go, to really energize them and allow them or support them so they could just blossom into this system that you're talking about?
There's a lot to that, and I start with some science, and I end up with some art, and some emotion frequently. The science part of it is understanding the motivations of the various people on my team. I have a diagnostics battery that tells me which of 7 different motivations a person has, because they may not share mine, and I see that a lot. That'll help me establish a process. It's all about setting up a process, which at first is when it's called a process when you still think about it. After you don't think about it anymore, it becomes a habit. And so that process has to include in it motivation for whoever's going to follow the process to do so. During what I call the suck, there'll be a big part of the process. It is no fun. Okay. There's somebody who calls it the trough of despair in a great graph about the creation of anything great. You were someplace where you were okay, and then you wanted to get up here. What you didn't know was you're going to go way down here first. Well, my mother used to say the Rockefeller kids started out poor when they left home, you know? So find some process that's going to accomplish your goal. And then if you're in fact having to delegate, find a way to motivate that person. That's the science aspect of it. Then recognizing my own limitations, being mindful of what it is that I'm uniquely good at, because I am limited in my understanding of someone else's challenges if for me they are not a challenge. And they will be unable to understand why I find something difficult if for them it is easy. I've often said that natural talent means that you were born with something that you don't understand why everybody isn't that way. And it can be a really significant obstacle if you walk into a room with people that you expect all are equally as competent in something as you are. You'll do nothing but disappoint yourself and piss them off. So it's really important to understand their motivations, put those motivations into a process that's going to work and be repeatable and measurable so that it can become a habit. And then, as I said, then that's sort of the art of it. And then finally, finding a way to make sure everybody eventually first embraces the suck, but then gets through it by being able to see the goal, being able to clearly see what it is we're striving for. And that needs to be something you can see is going to happen next week, something next month, something next year, and something that'll be written on your tombstone. But you have to have a vision for all of that.
I love your thoughts on this. In that, driving forward and making sure that you're paying attention to the people in the way they need to be paid attention to, so that you can find their motivational triggers and you can help them find their own motivational triggers, so that they literally build in the habits of doing the thing they're going to do to propel everybody towards greatness. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. The next question I got to ask you, though, is, you and I can talk a good game when it comes to what we know we need to do, right? But something is driving us to commit to it. What is that thing for you that's helping you create the commitment, the discipline that you need to commit to continue the strategy you just outlined for us?
It obviously boils down to accountability of yourself and of among others. And you said something incredibly powerful to me in one of our earlier meetings. Privilege is trust you've not yet earned. And I just believe that I have to go that I have the privilege of being able to earn that trust with the people that are helping me make this happen. And this doesn't happen. This is no hierarchical thing. Syndicate path means I am the CEO of 5 CEOs. The other guys are all running their own companies. All but one are older than me. All of them are more successful than me in terms of having run multiple businesses and then exited. Who am I to go in there and give these guys orders? And I know that. And what happens is they let me be in the role that I'm in because of privilege. And I have earned that trust gradually by being able to create for them an environment of processes and context, where they are and what they do, that makes what we want to accomplish together inevitable, by setting up a series of routine accountability challenges, most of which are done internally. But we do have a weekly meeting, several of them actually, with different components, where we talk about what went right, what went wrong, what has to be done better. A debrief is what it was called many, many years ago in a galaxy far, far away from me. NCI was not my first job in the professional career, but we won't go into what was. So having that environment set up so that it's easy to be accountable without shame, without pain, with full safety is crucial. I use the term crucial deliberately. I'm a great fan of a group of people called Crucial Learning. And they do an entire series on the Crucial Conversations, which is their most famous book. But they've had a lot of content out there about providing the kind of opportunity, and it evolves constantly as we've learned about mindfulness, as we've learned about emotional intelligence, and we can test for those things now. We've learned to incorporate them into how we hold each other accountable. This idea of boss worker thing, on the way out. Holding a paycheck over somebody's head just isn't going to cut it, particularly with the generation that's behind us or the generation that's behind them. They're less motivated by those things. And so the challenge to create the safe space, the encouraging space, the space free of pain and shame is good. Now, don't get me wrong, there's room for shame in this. I think it's important that I will feel bad if I make a promise and don't keep it. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to make anybody else feel bad, but I don't feel at all bad about being motivated a little bit. A little bit of cortisol is not a bad thing. Stress doesn't hurt. And too much stress hurts. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, too much stress too often. Every once in a while we're good, but if it's all the time, oh my God. And some people live in a high stress moment all day, every day. I don't know how they're going to survive the next 2 minutes. But it's so important. When you think about the next question I got to ask you, and this is like sort of the universal question. They're all your kind of universal questions, but this one is a reminder that, we all have to attend to some simple facts and some simple truths in lives. Politics are going to happen. We can't control them. The economy is going to happen. We can't control it. Technology is going to happen. We can't control it. All of the new laws and the new, legal aspects and the new environmental access, all those things are going to happen. We have very little control. What are the things that are out there in the future that are out there? Big, large ecosystem stuff that you can't control, that you just got to pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean, the things you mentioned, obviously, one of the benefits of being 60 instead of 20 in the business world is I now have lasted long enough to understand the importance of faith and grace. Faith being, as Dr. King said, stepping down a dark staircase without knowing where the next step will be, not being able to see clearly what the result of your hard work will be, but just to know it's going to be something good. And then the grace to understand you're going to fall short. You're going to miss a daily workout. It's okay. Just make sure you don't miss 2. Those are the things that help deal with that. And that great God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. There is no truer words. Building yourself systems again that make inevitable your success means you must focus on externalities that could impact what you're doing. Recognizing the very biggest and best companies were at a time when America's economy was terrible during the Depression. IBM, 3M, and the NAACP all came out during the recession or the Depression, Great Depression. These bad things are what motivate people. Good things make complacency. And I'll tell you, and I bet you're the same way, Coach, my biggest enemy is a guy who says I'm 10% better than I was last year. I shouldn't say enemy. The guy I can't help is somebody who says, I'm 10% better than I was last year. You know, complacency is a plush-lined coffin. You know, it's comfort, but you're not getting anywhere. So having a plan to deal, I know AI is going to completely change a lot of the things that I do. So I'm learning a little bit about it. And and I know you're learning as well. It also has some health benefits, keeping our mind sharp, learning new things. What was true and constraining 20 years ago no longer is. And I use that, again, 60 years versus 20 years. I use that as a way to understand in 10 years, what's pissing me off doesn't even exist now. And in 10 years, what I know to be absolute gospel truth, big chunks of it will not be. And in 10 years, half the jobs that exist today will be gone. But they'll be replaced, just as 10 years ago, half the jobs back then are gone now. So understanding that nothing is more constant than change, right? Recognizing the humanity of it. And again, my workshop is the brain. The human animal hasn't significantly changed in at least 50,000 years. We're still going to be able to think the same, talk the same, make each other feel good the same, and we're all kind of the same in between our ears. Everything else is an externality. Sure, it can be a challenge. Some people have it easier than others. Most of them are born that way. But there is no reason why you can't find a way to make internally all the drivers of your success your own and get past any hurdle that life throws your way. Everything else is just an excuse.
So true. So true, Adam. I don't think there's anything else to say. Oh my God. I mean, I promised you guys that there would be wisdom, and there was wisdom. I'm just a genius. This is the kind of people that I get to play with all the time. Don't you wish you were me? Don't you wish that, you got to do this kind of stuff all the time? This is great. Thank you so much, Adam, again.
Thank you, Coach.
This is not about me.
Every bit as much for me.
You. And, we're going to have
helping me
to
build
share
this
with
network
with generations,
No question.
This will be something that we'll always be able to go back to and do and move forward. So I'm proud of this moment, proud of this opportunity. I'm proud of you that we're able to do this together. And, let this be the beginning of some of the most amazing stories that we get to tell, as Absolutely. We move forward in our collaborations and efforts.
And you're putting my LinkedIn profile out there, right? Or did you read from it?
Yeah.
I do want people to contact me. I have no flyer to give you about what I think is important to you. That really doesn't interest me. Is what's important to me. I already know that. I want to learn what's important to you. So reach out to me and tell me what's important to you, because I believe we can help you attain it.
And we're going to talk about that after the show. So it's so great to see you. It's so great to have you. Thank you so much for being on the show. This has been like the best 30 minutes I've ever spent in a long time with anybody, because when you have like minds like we have come together and we just, we pretty much read the same books. We preach from the same gospel almost. I was like, oh, this is my brother from another mother. This is going to be fun. This is going to be super fun. And I'm so glad we get a chance to do this. All right, we're going to end the recording now, but don't go anywhere. For everybody who's been watching, this is Inside the Business Mind with Adam Pressman. If you like the show, make sure that you do everything you need to do. Like it, save it, share it, do all those magical whiz bang things, no matter where you're watching this from. Don't keep this a secret. Allow the rest of the world to benefit from what you're benefiting from. This is the social in social media. And so use it for your benefit so that you can grow, so that you can become the people that you are inspired to be and help your friends do it too. Thank you so very much for watching. Thank you so very much for your attention. I'm Coach Powell.